Besides feelings of hopelessness, feeling lonely is one of the more difficult depressive symptoms to treat. Now, loneliness obviously is an emotion, but it also is so highly correlated with depression that it's hard to separate the two. In fact, I don't know if I've ever met anybody that has depression that doesn't frequently feel lonely. I do want to try to keep this video simple, but on the deeper end of loneliness, sometimes what I see are people that find some level of comfort in their loneliness and isolation. Loneliness and isolation very highly correlated as well. So it kind of goes back to my other video that sometimes people find comfort in some of these depressive symptoms, and so you have to be really aware of that part of it for yourself. It also is kind of correlated with the idea of self-pity, which I want to do a whole nother video on by itself. One of the reasons why I would say that loneliness is a depressive symptom is because I've met a lot of people, and some of you may be like this, where you could be around a lot of people where you're actually not alone, but still feel lonely. But if you're a depressed person, I want you to try to do the best that you can to separate loneliness from other depressive symptoms and try to view them each in their own category so that you can treat them better. I may treat loneliness different than I treat apathy or isolation or feelings of hopelessness. But obviously some of the treatment could be the same, like the tool that I've always talked about. But anyways, I just want to list a few things that you can do to try to cope with feeling lonely. Number one, always shift the way that you think about yourself. Be kind to yourself. Use self-affirmations and be positive about how you view yourself. A lot of loneliness comes down to a lack of self-esteem and self-worth. Another thing to do, which seems completely obvious, which is connect with real people. It's good to connect with people online. I think that can be important for a lot of people, and in some people's situations, that may be 90% of their ability to communicate with other people. But if you have the opportunity, communicate with real people in real life as much as you can. And sorry, when I just say communicate, I mean try to connect with them. So that means spending time with them, spending quality time, trying to figure out things to do with them. Another thing is to kind of evaluate how you spend your spare time. How do you spend your downtime? Is it completely isolated? Is it with other people? Is it almost always on electronic devices? Are you, again, trying to connect with other people? And, what is it that you get out of those things? So really evaluating what it is that you get out of your spare time and how you spend your spare time, you can then rank or reevaluate where you need to put your mental energy in order to treat feelings of loneliness. This one's going to sound a little bit weird, but talk to strangers. Make sure that I know, get out of your comfort zone a little bit and just say hi to somebody, and you can just start out slow. Or, if you're around people, do the best you can to try to engage in the conversation. The reality is there are some people that don't want to talk, but I think that there's a lot more people that would be willing to engage in conversation than you would ever realize. And I think a lot of people just kind of go throughout this world and they're stuck, they're glued to their phone or whatever. But they also, I think, on a deeper level, want connections with other humans. Another thing that I've found with people is that they'll use certain behaviors to try to, it's not pushing other people away, but it's preventing other people from being able to engage with you. So if you're one of those people that's just looking at your phone when you're on, you're on the bus station or you're in an airport or whatever, if you're just sitting there glued to your phone, what are the opportunities that other people are going to have to come and approach you? So think about that. Be selfless. Learn how to try to focus on other people. don't think about yourself as much as you could maybe other people. So when you're feeling lonely, think about the people that you know in your life that you love and care about, and then ask yourself, what do they need? Is there anything that they need? And then try to go out of your way to do something for them. And I think when you do that, you'll find a lot of joy and happiness and connection with people, and way less loneliness than you did before. Think about volunteering somewhere. There's a lot of places that need extra help. And what a better way to be able to get out of the house and connect with other people and feel a sense of pride in yourself and increasing your self-esteem than going and volunteering somewhere where a place really needs some help. So I think that that's one of the better pieces of advice that I could give people. Last but not least, focus on what matters to you in your life. You know, if there's some things that are taking a lot of your mental energy that cause you to then stay home and isolate yourself, then you feel more lonely. Evaluate those things in your life and kind of go, okay, am I spending too much time doing this thing that's not fulfilling? And what can I replace it with that matters in my life? So these are just a few tips, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think about how you've been able to cope with loneliness. How bad does it get for you? And what have you done to try to deal with it that's either worked or hasn't worked? All right, thank you.